From Columbia to Gamecock country everywhere, this is the Rooster Roundup Sports Podcast with Petty, Carter, and Peyton. Proud fans, bold opinions, all things South Carolina. We're going to start this episode out tonight, since we didn't have one Tuesday, with a happy belated Veterans Day. For all those who have served and are continuing to serve in this great country, we really appreciate you. And for the Rooster Roundup tonight is my co-host Petty and myself, Peyton. Carter is traveling, so he could not make tonight. Gamecocks hopefully have hit their reset button, and hopefully all the Gamecocks will see something a little different. At least we hope, as Mike Furrey will be calling plays the final 3 games, and if the Gamecocks miraculously go 3-0 and finish 6-6, he'll most likely call a bowl game. That is a tall task, that's for sure. But the Gamecocks are playing the number 3 team in the country as they go into the 12th man to face the Aggies on Saturday for a 12 p.m. kick.
Yeah, early one. Early. And
yeah,
see,
early for them.
Yeah, here's the thing about it, is if we get blown out that game, the rest of the day's ruined for me watching football. So,
that's very true.
I feel like this is a lose-lose situation. Because, say we get our butt kicked, that's a lose, obviously, because Carolina lost, whatever. But say we go out there and win, and we look like a whole different ball team, it's a lose because if this is something we could have had at the beginning of the year, and it was all because of our offensive coordinator, it's like, well, what could this year have been? So
I agree. But honestly, I'd rather have that feeling than the miserable Saturday.
Yeah, I think it would too. It would really shock college football if South Carolina went into Kyle Field and beat them. But that's a tall task, to say the least.
Speaking of tall tasks, we'll jump into the Aggies on offense. They're led by sophomore quarterback Marcel Reed, who currently is in the Heisman race. I think he's in the top 3 the last time I looked. He's thrown for 2,200 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions so far. And he's also rushed for 378 yards and 6 touchdowns. Their rushing attack, they have a duo in Reuben Owens, who he's kind of been hit or miss. It's either him or Moss usually pop off. But, Le'Veon Moss, senior running back, who last year was having a really good year until he unfortunately messed his knee up against the Gamecocks. But with the Gamecocks being suspect in the run game, we gotta make sure we wrap up and tackle. If not, these backs can get going. Wide receiver wise, they have another duo. Casey Concepcion from NC State. He's a killer in the return game as well. And then sophomore Mario Craver that came in from Mississippi State, and he's only 225 yards shy of 1,000 on the season. So if we're looking at it statistically, that's really Reed's guys. He's going to either KC or Craver. They have a combined 86 receptions. If you look past them, the next 4 guys, which is 2 receivers and 2 of their tight ends, they have a combined 56 receptions. So he's looking at Craver or KC for sure. Offensive line-wise, I think they might be one of the best units in the country, and I wish like hell South Carolina had them. But they've only given up 8 sacks, and they've also helped the Aggies to 204 rushing yards per game on the ground, and that's 5.2 yards a carry. Texas A&M is also averaging right at 38 points a game. So South Carolina's definitely going to have their hands full if they can get some early stops and score somewhat with them on offense. But Petty, before we get into defense, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Off the top of your head, would you think that Texas A&M or South Carolina is more penalized?
Is more penalized?
Yep.
Like, what do you mean, like flags?
Yes.
See, I feel like you wouldn't be asking this question if it wasn't Texas A&M. But
I know, that's why I'm asking.
But I mean, just based off what I've seen this year, I would have to say South Carolina, just because of the undisciplined, line mistakes that we have seen this year. So I'm gonna say, I'll take your bait. I'm gonna say South Carolina.
Yeah, well, you would be on the right track there, but A&M is more penalized. They've committed, 71 to South Carolina's 68, which is only 3 but at the same time, they average over 100 yards more than South Carolina in penalties. So they are somehow more penalized than South Carolina. So
Did it say what kind of penalties? Like, did it break it down from like line
it did
penalties or?
not break it down. So what I'm hoping Saturday is if they have big plays, they get called back for holds, or if we try to have a big play, pass interference if we don't execute it.
Yeah, I got you. Well, I took the bait and I was wrong.
Pick one for the team.
Yep. We ready to move on to defense?
Yeah, give us a look.
All right. Um, DJ Durkin, defense coordinator, has Texas A&M defense looking very good this year. They are only allowing 317 yards per game, which is, among top of the defenses in the nation. They roughly allow 189 passing yards per game, which is 31st nationally, and 128 yards per game, which is ninth in the SEC. Not sure why the stats gave me the SEC rankings for that, but take that as you will. 128 yards. Only allowing 22.9 points per game. Um, I mean, all around pretty decent defense here. Pass defense is solid, only allowing 58% completions for an average of 6.1 yards per attempt. So, they're not really allowing the explosive plays this season, which South Carolina has obviously struggled at that, but, could pose some issues considering South Carolina doesn't really, I don't want to say really goes for the deep ball, but to me, I feel like the 6 yard passes aren't really our thing either. We're kind of in that in between. Um, Run defense, they were a little shaky beginning of the year. Have thoroughly improved. I think they've moved some guys around on the line that has really helped with that. Let's dive into some of these players to look out for Texas A&M defense. Start with Shamar Turner. He's one of the key players for that defense. Good strength, quick off the line. I mean, he disrupts when he gets in the pocket and just causes chaos in the backfield. Plain and simple, that's how he is. Another guy on the front lines is McKinley Jackson. I would say he's probably their best defensive lineman player. He's a big guy. I mean, just absolutely clogs up the interior and just makes running lanes hard to go through, which could be very detrimental for South Carolina. Linebackers, no one really to, be like, oh my God, they're crazy. They have a couple of solid guys back there, pretty agile in that position. Personally, who I think is the biggest, I would say, probably the biggest threat on their defense is their cornerback, Jalen Jones. Uh, Big guy, really fast. I mean, he's a lockdown defender, and that's what he's going to do. Really good in press coverage and zone schemes. It's a guy to be worse than back there in the secondary. Safeties, they have a couple safeties that are really good. Damani Richardson and Antonio Johnson. Haven't seen too much on them, but apparently Damani Richardson can read a quarterback like no other, so that's something for sellers to be aware of as well. Just all around, DJ Durkin has it going good there, scheme-wise for Texas A&M. And I tell you what, South Carolina's going to have to fire on all cylinders if they want to win this ball game.
Yeah, I think so too. I think A&M, their run game's been suspect at times, so I think South Carolina's going to have to take advantage there. But we've talked about they've got their hands full. So we'll move on to special teams. I'll start with kicking. Bond for the Aggies is perfect on extra points and anything inside of 40. However, from 40 yards out, he is 4 of 6, and 50 plus, he's 0 and 3. So I think if you can keep him around the 47 plus range, he could probably a good chance that he misses. They're not really a great punting team. They only average about 37 yards a punt, so flipping the field is going to be crucial.
Yep.
A&M excels, however, in the return game. They average 26 on kickoff returns and 19 per punt. And Concepcion has taken 2 to the house. He's very dangerous, and the Gamecocks are definitely going to have to live up to the Beamer ball when it comes to the return game and kind of limiting Concepcion and hopefully keeping him at bay.
Yeah. Um, Sorry, I want to add one thing to the defense I forgot. Texas A&M's defense has tended to struggle against mobile quarterbacks. Depending on scheme wise, what South Carolina has offensively, if they're going to let Sellers be 2024 Sellers, that could also be a big factor for South Carolina too. They are not good at holding, the third downs and red zones, so they tend to let drives go extended for the opposing offense. So it's a big key thing to look out for. All right, that's it. I'm done defense.
All right. All right. Before we jump into Pickems, Petty, I gotta ask you an honest question here.
All right,
Last week, I know we didn't finalize our Pickems. Who would you have picked to win the Florida Kentucky game?
Florida, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Florida.
God, I knew we should have went with it.
Did you pick Kentucky?
I did.
Yeah.
I just
I
said I did. The only reason I did is because for some unknown reason, I think that Kentucky beating Auburn, getting freeze fired, I just felt like Stoops was going to save his job yet again. He beat Florida, obviously. They put a whooping on him,
Mhm.
and I think he's going to end up sticking around for another year.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Well, not really. Unfortunately, unfortunate for them. For us, not so much.
Yeah, bring him
Um.
on.
Yeah. Uh. Who were the Pickems? If you give me the Pickems, I can tell you who I would have picked right off the top. No matter
Uh,
outcome, I'll give it to you honest.
BYU, Texas Tech.
BYU.
Um,
I think that would
who
have been a
else?
miss.
Yeah, I picked the Red Raiders. They look pretty good.
Yeah, I think they killed
Um,
them, didn't they? I didn't watch
yeah, it
that
was
game, but
it was a beatdown.
yeah,
Oregon, Iowa.
Oregon,
Yeah. Shoot, I'm trying to think of the other couple that we had.
Georgia, Mississippi State.
Yes.
I would have picked Georgia. Who
And
else?
then
Tennessee,
A A&M Mizzou.
A&M,
Yeah. Auburn Vandy.
Vandy,
And then LSU Bama.
Bama.
Yeah. You'd have had a good week.
Yeah, would have had a good one.
I just would have went perfect.
Yep. All right, let
Hopefully,
me pull
hopefully I
up.
can do it.
Speaking of that, let me pull up my sheet for this week's pick'em so I can give some stats out. All right, let's start with LSU versus Tuskegee, Arkansas. All
Mm.
right.
What's the spread on this game?
Alrighty, let's see here. All right, got it pulled up finally. LSU is a 5.5 point favorite.
Yeah, I think
Game
this game.
played in LSU.
Yeah,
12:45 kickoff.
I think this game is going to be ugly to watch. I've picked Arkansas 3 times this year, and they've let me down. So I'm going to roll with LSU, even though I'm really not confident on them either. I think I think it's close. I think Arkansas stays in the game. I mean, they've had their chances to win some games this year, but they've kind of been like the Gamecocks and unable to finish. So I think Arkansas will have a chance to win late yet again, and they'll fall short. LSU 23-20.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you. I think it's going to be, like you said, a very messy game. However, I don't know. So, is Nussmeier starting? I know he got benched against Alabama, but do we
I
expect him to
don't.
come out there?
I do not know.
I mean, I don't think it really matters. I think LSU takes this one. I'm not saying they're going to beat the brakes off of them. I think it's actually going to be a pretty close game. Give me LSU 17-14.
Okay, I can see that.
Alrighty, let's move on. Personally, what I think could be one of the top games of the week, just in terms of straight up dogfight. Texas versus Georgia in Athens, 7:30 kickoff. It's going to be rowdy down there. Georgia's a 5.5 point favorite. I can
Mm,
start this one off.
go ahead.
I know I've crapped on Texas all year. However, I think that Texas is going to go in there. They're confident. They're playing decent football now. They're firing on all cylinders. Everything's oiled up nicely for them. Um, I think this could be another hard fought battle for Georgia. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Arch Manning and Company wins this one, 30 to
Okay,
27.
all right. I could see it. Um, like you said, Texas kind of turned the page. I think Arch is playing a lot better. I think defensively they've stepped up as well, and of course having Wisner back at running back helps them a lot. But I've seen Texas play, and they struggle when they're on the road. Granted they've escaped some games, but at the same time, it's between the hedges. It's always hard to win in Athens. I don't care who the coach is, who the team is. Um, so that being said, I think Manning will have a rough game. I think the Dogs are going to take this one 31-20.
31-20. Okay.
Yep.
Alrighty. On to what I think will be just all around the best game. Oklahoma versus Alabama. Let's see. In Tuscaloosa, 3:30 game, prime time, some would say. Uh, Alabama's a 5.5 point favorite. Or, I'm sorry. Yeah, 5.5 point. Man, a lot of 5.5s this weekend.
I know, right? A lot of good games. I
Yep.
think Oklahoma's playing well. They went in the Neyland a couple weeks ago and got a big win. Tuscaloosa's gonna be pretty wild. I think Bama's still playing good. I mean, they've had a couple of tight runs with the Gamecocks, and LSU kind of stayed in that game for a little bit, but they just find a way to win. I think that's something they struggled to do last year, but this year ultimately they're getting it done because Ty Simpson is able to bail them out on some plays, and they're making some plays defensively when they need it. So I think Mateer's gonna have a solid game. However, I think he's gonna turn the ball over in a key spot, and I think Oklahoma comes up just short. So give me the Tide 27-23.
Yeah. I will like to note it did open at 7.5, so Vegas sees something funny starting to happen, but not really that matters. I agree with you. I think Alabama's going to win this game. Mateer started off hot, got hurt. It's been not himself, I would say. Personally, I think they let him play too early after his surgery, but 17 days to be exact after his surgery, he's out on the field. And, I think there's some still a little bit of underlying issues there with him, and I think that's going to show in this game. I think Alabama's going to win this one pretty heavily, 27-10.
I could see it.
Let's move on to Florida versus Ole Miss. In Oxford, Ole Miss is about to say Mississippi State. Ole Miss is a 14.5 point favorite. They opened at 13.5, so so
Vegas sees something.
yep, 7 o'clock game. There's really not much to say about this. I think Ole Miss puts pounding on them. I don't think Florida has what it takes to keep up with the scoring that Ole Miss's offense can do. And I think all around this is an absolute butt whooping. 45-17.
I'm along the same lines. I mean, I think Florida's throwing the towel. We saw him get drugged by Kentucky, and you know, Lagway was benched. I don't know. I don't know if he's starting. Kind of like Nussmeier. I don't think Lagway is. I think they turn into their backup. But I still don't think it matters. But I think the Rebels take it 34-13 in a blowout. And could this be Kiffin coaching against his future team?
Nah, I think he stays.
I think he does too. But money can do a lot of things.
Money can do a lot, but I think Ole Miss will make sure he stays.
Hey, you could see DJ Lagway in an Ole Miss jersey next year. Who knows?
Who knows? I wouldn't. I
No,
wouldn't
I
want
wouldn't
him.
either.
All right. Last game, Mississippi State versus Missouri. It's in Missouri, the fake Columbia. Missouri is a 7.5 point favorite, opened up at 5.5 points. So,
So it jumped up.
yep, jumped up, kind of like Florida Ole Miss. Take it away.
I, I think something about this game gives me an odd feeling that Mississippi State can win. Will they? I'm not sure. I think they'll come in and they'll score some points, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think Missouri's defense will respond after a rough week against the Aggies last week. I think Mizzou on offense does just enough for their backup quarterback. I think Hardy will have a game, and I think they'll secure an ugly win, probably something like 24-20 or 24-17.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Mississippi State kind of struggling. It seems like they can hang in games pretty well, but then just I don't know. It's like they fall off there towards the end. except for Georgia. They kind of just got blown out in that game, but
Yeah.
opened it up hot. I thought it was going to be a close one. Nothing really came out of it. Yeah, I got Missouri 27-21.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be close. I'm with you.
And that is it for this week. Get to watch Clemson play Friday against Louisville. So
Oh, they play
that'll be,
Friday.
yep, 7:30. That'll
Let
be
me let me just say this real quick. I
okay.
watched maybe 3 plays of the Florida State Clemson game. Florida
Yeah.
State is one of the worst football teams I've ever seen in my life.
Which I don't understand what happened. They started off beating Alabama. So what happened? I mean, their offense was clicking that game, and then it's just like, well, we beat Alabama. That's it for the year. We've done what we needed to do.
Well, I will say this. I mean, the couple of plays that I did watch, they had two wide open touchdowns that the receivers or running backs dropped right in their hands. So
Yeah,
what are y'all doing?
I don't know, man. It's weird. It's a weird time in college football.
I know you don't know what to expect on a
No,
Saturday. Anything can change.
anything can happen. It's definitely interesting, but who knows?
And if you look
Maybe.
at the Indiana Penn State game, I mean, Indiana pretty much was about to lose, and next thing you know, they just turn it around and
Yeah,
they're
with arguably catch of the year.
that's probably one of the best catches I've ever seen. That was absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's a heck of an effort all the way around. It's just good football right there.
Yeah, must be nice.
Yeah, I wish we had some receivers that could catch like that, but to
Or a
be fair,
quarter.
they got to get the ball thrown to them.
Yeah, I was about to say, or a quarterback that can get it to him.
Man, I would love to see. Oh shit! Excuse my language. We forgot to talk about South Carolina Texas A&M predictions. I
We were getting to it. We were just
Yeah, you're right. We were gonna get
reminiscing.
there. Oh, well, since we're talking about quarterback, let's get into it. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, and I think South Carolina gets killed yet again. Do I think offensively things are changed? Yes. Do I think there will be noticeable difference? Probably not. I think they're going to try to keep, excuse me, the same. I wouldn't say scheme, but identity as they had, and I think that's 3/4 of the issue. But Beamer's so stubborn when it comes to it that I don't think we see much of a difference. Maybe Sellers plays a little bit better. That's about it. I'd love to see Mazio get involved more, but I guess we'll see. I'm excited for it though, because if they do come out strong, I will. It'd be nice to finally watch South Carolina team compete.
Yeah, compete all the way. Hey, getting killed. What do you think the score's gonna be?
Uh, I've been teetering with it. I think 35 to 20, and that's not really getting killed, but I don't know.
Probably a late touchdown by the Gamecocks.
Yeah, yeah. I think here's how I think it goes. I think it goes touchdown, field goal, late touchdown
I could see that.
in that
I
order.
could. I could definitely see that.
I think we open drive, we score a touchdown, then we're quiet pretty much rest of the game. We'll get into field goal range, kick it. I think we have a missed field goal too.
Yeah, I could. I could definitely see that. I I'm gonna say this about the offense. I'm not gonna say that they're gonna go out there and put up 50 and hang 600 yards. But when you heard the players talk this week in the presser and even in Beamer's presser, Furrey kind of brings a different voice to the room. He's more of a confident and kind of has some swag to him. And I think as an OC, you need that. Shula, I read a couple of different articles that he was supposedly nervous and had some anxiety when he was calling plays. And I don't know about you, but I want a dude calling plays that's gonna have confidence and be a little cocky than somebody that's biting his fingernails over there calling in a play.
Yeah, well, also I think too that Furry doesn't really have a reason to be nervous though. I mean, the season's already pretty much washed. I mean,
Yeah, the same.
can you really get any worse than what our offense has been? No, we're
No, I don't think
almost dead last.
I don't
So,
think you can. But my point in that was I think the players can feed off of that. I think, he shows a little confidence, a little swagger, then the players will kind of inseminate that into their game. I hope anyway.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't like that. I get what you're saying about like they have like a different swagger to them, but at the same time, that's just talk. Like I could go into a press conference and make people believe I could go out there and throw for 350 yards.
I'm with you. I want them to back it up.
Yeah, I want to see it. If they go out there and they they walk the walk, hats off. Good for you. Wish we would have had this earlier in the season. But
I completely agree. And like we talked about, the Aggies, they're one of the best teams in the country. There's no doubt about that. And going to Kyle Field, which, me and you and a buddy of ours that appeared on the show earlier in the year, Cole, been to Aggie Land. It's a very cool environment. Definitely strange with the midnight yell. I definitely would say that. But, they're going to be hopefully sleeping. That 11 a.m. kick, fans will kind of be waking up and won't be awake enough to make a ruckus. But, you know, right now it's a 19.5 point spread, which I think is wild in my opinion. I think the Gamecocks cover, but ultimately they'll fall short. So do something dumb, whether that be a turnover or a big penalty, causing them to come up short. I'll take the
yeah,
Aggies in a tight one, 31-23.
yeah. What are they? 9-0?
Yep,
8-0?
not enough. They, hey,
9-0?
they haven't slipped up yet. It's bound to happen.
I got a cool fact for you. In the
Hit me with
past,
it.
in the well, not really a cool. It is a cool fact, but I want to see if you know this. In the past 100 years, how many 11-win seasons do you think Texas A&M has had?
The past 100 years,
Yep, since 1925, past century.
I want to say one, and that maybe in the Johnny Manziel year.
Okay. What about South Carolina?
It should be three.
You would be correct about the numbers, but it was 1992 for Texas A&M when they went undefeated.
Really?
Yep, we have more 11-win seasons than Texas A&M does in the past 100 years.
That's interesting.
But none of that really matters going into this game. But just cool little fact. I wouldn't have thought that honestly.
No,
But
I mean, kind of like my question earlier. I kind of thought that it might be less than the Gamecocks, but I thought it would have been more recent than 1992.
1992, and then Carolina's was 2011, 2012, and 2013.
2013. Been a while.
Been a while. Also, all in a 3-year stretch. So that, they had something good going in Columbia.
Yeah, they need to go back and find that same energy, but hopefully one day.
One day. One day, one day. All right. Well, I think that's going to conclude this episode unless you have anything else to add.
The only thing I was gonna to say to close was shout out to the women's basketball team for taking down Clemson the other night. It's always good when somebody beats the Tigers. I don't care if it's freaking badminton.
Yep.
Somebody beats that team from their upstate. It's great, and hopefully the men's basketball team's currently playing, and they're up 48-22 over Presbyterian right now, so they should be able to close that one out and move to 3-0 on the year.
Yep. We finally get a win in the all sports uh season rivalry with them this year. So
I need
keep
another
on.
one
I
here in about 3 weeks.
I think it's 2-1-1
Yeah, I think so.
with Clemson the lead. Maybe the football team can come in and tie that up.
Yeah, we'll see.
We shall see. You're correct. All right. Once again, everybody, appreciate the love and support y'all have shown us. We we are approaching 1,000 downloads for the podcast, which is something I would not expect to have happened so soon.
I agree.
Honestly,
That's
it's
crazy.
awesome, and that's all thanks to y'all. Follow us on social medias, Twitter. I think Facebook's kind of a lost cause. I don't really see us getting that account back, so thanks Zuckerberg. Um, so we will be a X only account from here on out. I would, unless something magical happens. But Twitter is at Rooster Roundup, Twitter X, whatever y'all want to call it. Still Twitter to me. And then YouTube, go like and subscribe. Podcasts are on there as well. Yeah, let's hope Carolina wakes up and ready to be deadly Saturday.
Yeah, one can only hope. Like Petty said a second ago, hey, we're approaching 1,000 downloads. Let's go ahead and get us over the hill. Phone a
Yeah.
friend. Get a download. Wake up. Let's go.
Yep. Yep. Alrighty. Till next time. Go Cox.
Go Cox.